Cthulhu Saves the World is the follow-up game to the underwhelming Breath of Death, developed by the same studio, Zeboyd Games. This game is far superior to their previous role-playing game, even though it's fundamentally the same. You play as Cthulhu, an ancient demon who is well on set to destroying the world until a mysterious wizard casts a spell on him that weakens his abilities as a Cthulhu. In order to break this curse, Cthulhu must gain enough hero points from saving the world several times and destroying his monster colleagues with the help of his human love interest and a cast of oddball characters that are full of rich personality. The story is actually quite original for a simple save the world plot, and that's mainly because you're a Cthulhu saving the world, with the writing almost never halting its ridiculousness in a positive way. I say almost because near the very end of the game, the humor gets recycled, almost like in most of Breath of Death, and the one more quest to save the world starts to get tiresome and less funny. The whole format of saving the world also gets recycled, with the civilians acting strange and Cthulhu must find the culprits and beat the snot out of them. Still, the narrative has greatly improved, and it's one of the best aspects of the game. The gameplay is also greatly improved, despite being more the same. Like Breath of Death, Cthulhu Saves the World is pretty short and linear for an old school role-playing game, with only a few optional temples to raid, and little to collect or discover. Also, like Breath of Death, there's no mana management and you cannot buy potions. Instead, you find potions in some of the hidden chests, and magic is fully restored only from passing a glowing checkpoint or staying at a local inn. Some call this challenge. I call this inconvenience. That's where the complaints end, for the rest of the game is unlike Breath of Death in a very positive way. Combat is a much more refined and faster version of Breath of Death's turn-based combat system. Now, your tech and magic will actually cause different buffs, debuffs, or status effects, instead of every ability being the exact same thing, with different numbers. And the enemies now have more distinct characteristics besides their sprites. The Unite system, which bands at least 2 party members together to perform a special move, is useful now with characters actually performing useful buffs or attacks that can deal a great amount of damage for a reasonable cost of magic. After each turn has passed, your surviving enemies will gain a 10% attack raise, and because of all the improvements, it's much more tense. Winning a fight will grant you experience points that can layer up one of your party members to unlock new abilities, level up old abilities, or give your party members stats boosts. In short, Cthulhu Saves the World feels more like an old school RPG game, and less of a side gag. You'll travel the lands and later the sky with your extremely crucial team. There's no more requirements of grinding and getting lost, and there's a shorter random encounter number, allowing the pacing of the game to never slow down. You can visit towns to read some clever jokes from your party members, stay in an inn, or buy better gear in a blacksmith shop. The general gameplay in Cthulhu Saves the World is flawed, but great, with a nice spark of challenge, acceleration, and most of all, fun. The game lasts around 8 to 10 hours, and you can lock a few challenge modes to test your retro RPG skills to the limits. The best completion option you unlock is an altered campaign, where one of the supporting characters take the lead role to saving the world, with Cthulhu acting as your virtual guide. The updated retro visuals are nice, but the oversaturation of retro indies prevents Cthulhu Saves the World's presentation from standing out. The music, however, is quite beautiful. For $3, Cthulhu Saves the World is a good role-playing game.